Some of my interesting Christmas presents in the year 2022. The backdrop for the opening to this video is my book of steam that was made for me by a friend. It's nothing to do with the Christmas presents, but it's a good backdrop. It's not quite what it seems. It isn't a book at all. When you open it, it's just big enough to take an iPad. Because once upon a time with my daughter Charlotte, we started something called Charlotte's Steam Clinic. And this was designed to take the iPad and use it as an autocue to allow my daughter Charlotte to use extracts from the Essential Guide to Miniature Steam, which is an ebook. This Christmas present is really good. It was from my eldest daughter Emma. It's just a thing to hold glasses because I have glasses all over the place in the house. I don't like varifocals, so the only other choice is to have 4 pairs of glasses. Why 4, you may ask? Well, one of them is a pair of reading glasses, the other one is a pair of distance glasses for driving and watching TV. Then there's a pair of glasses I have in the studio, and I also have yet another pair in my video editing room. My daughter Emma bought me just one of these, but I was so impressed with it, I bought some more. This is the Christmas present from my daughter Charlotte. It is a microscope. A very well designed, clever piece of kit, a digital microscope, and here it is in my video editing room. I'll run through how it works. When you first switch it on when it's connected to a computer, these options appear on screen: mass storage, so you can use it as a mass storage device, to allow the transfer of data from the micro SD card that fits in the monitor to the computer. You can use the microscope directly as a PC camera or just set it in charging mode. Here's a full image of the microscope in position in my editing room, which is where it's going to stay for the moment. This digital microscope of Chinese origin is really good. It's very simple to use and I haven't read the manual yet. I'll show you how it works. This is a small plastic box full of extremely small nuts and bolts, as well as nuts and washers and some modified nut spinners. In this image they look quite large, but they're actually about 1/16 of an inch in diameter. The screen on this microscope is very high resolution, and here I'm using the microscope just to show what's in the box. Don't forget these are really tiny things and the image quality on screen is great. With the magnification of my standard camera, they look like this. I can't really focus in any more than this. But with a single bolt underneath the microscope, this is what I can do. Quite amazing. Don't forget this is a 10BA bolt, a very small one. This image was taken using my Sony camera pointed at the monitor on the microscope. And it gets better. The record functions and menu functions are all controlled by this small wired remote. Here's a close-up of the monitor on the microscope, and because I left the protection in place, you can see that there's a thumbprint on it. Here is the image once I'd transferred it from the onboard SD card into the computer. And I've further enlarged the image by using the functions in my digital editor. As I previously mentioned, you can connect the microscope to a computer using the supplied USB lead. But in this case, for general usage, I have it in charging mode. I can think of quite a few applications for use in model engineering. For instance, if you move the microscope right to the top of its travel, you can put something underneath it, such as a piece of metal that you're marking out that you need to be 100% accurate. I enabled the crosshairs on the monitor just so I know where I am. Quite a few other applications spring to mind. This piece of paper simulates a marked out piece of metal. When the camera is attached to the computer and set to mass storage mode, this item appears on the desktop. And here I am examining one of the images. This is actually being filmed by my normal video camera on the desktop of the computer. I think you've probably guessed by now that I like the microscope. I did get some other very interesting presents from my 3 daughters, and even a large bottle of rum from my first wife, Fran, who's Emma's mother. I quite like woodland things like you see here. The Old Man of the Forest, or whatever it's called, on the wall is one I got last year, but this year I got these 3 small trees. When I was opening them, I wondered why I was getting some cast resin pieces of broccoli. It was only when I turned them round and looked more closely that I noticed that they were Hear Note, See Note and Say Note. Before I move on, I'd like to thank my 3 daughters, Emma, Charlotte and Catherine, and my first wife, Fran, for the kind presents. Unbelievably, this arrived in the post. I'd given up on it owing to the postal strike. I'm going to use this to make a dummy water lifter pipe for the Allchin traction engine. Once it's painted brown and made to look a bit more uneven, it should look okay. This view is on my dining room table. Yet another glasses holder, these are my workshop glasses, and a really nice nearly finished bottle of Chateauneuf de Pape. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I once typed it into Google and it came up as Chateauneuf de Poupy, but I think that was a comedy version of a pronunciation website. One of the presents I received from Emma, my eldest daughter, before Christmas was an advent calendar, and in each of the doors was a bottle of wine, and unfortunately these are all I have left. I didn't video any images of the damaged box once I'd ripped these bottles from the box because it looked a bit like a damaged building. Also, on the 28th of December, this Christmas card arrived from my friend Bob Brocklehurst, who owns Pugneys Light Railway in Wakefield. This is the latest one of Bob's impressive stable of miniature locomotives. I always enjoy the Christmas holidays, and this has been no exception. Have a safe and healthy 2023. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it interesting. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.